What's going on, guys? It's your boy djfatsnacks back with another review. And today we're reviewing the Power Rangers anniversary special, the 30th anniversary special. Yep, it came up, it happened. And guys, when I say that this was a good special, I mean it. It was really a good special. It did have some weird things going on, but good special. Overall, good special. What you expect is a Power Rangers thing. So you already know you're gonna have the goofiness, you're gonna have the craziness of all the characters doing wild stuff, the bad acting, all that good stuff. But if you're a fan of Power Rangers, you're gonna love how crazy it gets. Um, yeah. So I mean, listen, the story, right? This story is very different than what I thought it was going to be. To be completely honest, thought it was going to be something totally different. Thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to give some insight on some of the characters that we know were coming back, like backstories of what they were going to do. And to be completely honest, they didn't do that. Everybody's together. Everybody's like they've been working for years, like as if the last season of them leaving the team never happened. The only thing they kind of give you a hint at is kind of what Zach was doing, but even then they kind of just say it's in passing, like he was doing this, but something happened, so he had to come back and take care of something else. Not not to be just a Power Ranger. He was already still a Power Ranger while he was doing this. So that's a pretty interesting story. It could have been better. It could have gave us more insight into what the other Rangers were doing while they were gone. Not we didn't need no big whole comic book size story type of thing, but just something short and simple, letting us know where everybody's been. And speak of the story and the whole point of why everything is being made, let's talk about this first person, Robot Rita. Yo, the way she comes about is so crazy. You wouldn't even think about it. Knowing that she's back, you just think somebody else made her. But comes to find out that basically Billy was doing something he wasn't supposed to be doing. Billy truly went ahead and decided, you know what? 30 years has gone by. Let's see if we could bring Zordon back. This man has been dead, gone, dusted across the universes. And Billy decides, you know what? I want to bring him back now. Out of all the times ago, he wants to do it now. So what happened was Rita's essence basically convinced Billy. I'm assuming that's how it goes, because I think they say she tricked him and made him think that she was Zordon, but really it was her. So he brings her essence back instead of Zordon's essence. And when the essence come back, it goes into Alpha 8. Yes, I don't know how we got the Alpha 8 so fast, but we there. So it's Alpha 8. She goes into Alpha 8 and morphs into Robot Rita, what you see on the screen right now. Yeah, crazy, right? So yeah, she morphs into this thing, decides she wants to go ahead and destroy all the Power Rangers for what they did. Not just the number 6 Power Rangers that we all know, the top 6. All of them. The whole legendary team squad, whatever you want to call it. All 30 years plus teams. That's what she wants to do. So she could go ahead and she has this master plan cooked up. I'll talk about that a little later in the review. But yeah, so she comes back into Alpha's body. So they do a time jump after this. First of all, sorry, I'm jumping ahead. I'm trying to do a time jump. So she shows up and she attacks Billy in the command center. He forces her out, and all the other Rangers come. And when I mean all the Rangers come. That means the 3 that everybody was wondering who's going to be there. That's including Trini, who was supposed to be dead already. But, they're all in their suits, so you don't see their faces clearly. They're not in the show, but they're in the show. Again, I'll talk about them a little later. But yes, all the Rangers are there. They're fighting Rita. Rita has some monsters that's going to help attack. Well, actually, no, Rita's by herself at this point. And she's pretty strong, and they can't keep up with her. And she goes to do a devastating blow against Billy, and Trini decides she wants to just jump in the way. And as she jumps in the way, Rita kills her. And that's how she dies off of the Power Ranger show. So she lives through the 30 years that we've been through everything else. But at this point in time, she dies. Rita kills her. She dusted into, she disintegrated. So with that being said, they decided, let's not continue on and chase her because she ran away. Rita ran away because she was like, she got to enact her plan. So she got away. A year goes by without any sign of Rita. Oh, let's go back again before we do the thing. Before the time jump, Billy and Zach has to go tell Trini's daughter that she's dead. And apparently she was mad about it, and she had a little temper tantrum, and she ran off. And so then they go a year ahead, and now it's like an anniversary for them, to talk about Trini's death. They go to the thing, and everybody's supposed to meet up there. So they go, and that's when Rita strikes. But she strikes when the other Rangers are there, not just Zach and Billy are not there. Everybody else is there. So Zach and Billy and Trini's daughter is on their way, and they roll up and realize that Rita's attacking the other Rangers. Conveniently, the other Rangers are in their suits. And this brings me back to the next set of things that we need to talk about is the original Rangers that were supposed to be there. They should have been there. I wish they could have been there. We know two couldn't make it, clearly. And there we go. Yeah, these two. Well, you had all three Rangers there. All four Rangers. Well, three at this point. And it was Jason, Kimberly, and Tommy. Like I said, Trini died, so she was gone. And so as they were trying to help fight, they told Trini's daughter to sit back, and Billy and Zach went in to join the fight. So at first you were thinking these are just people who are just in the suits, and they're not even going to acknowledge that it is Jason and Tommy and Kimberly. But then they actually say the names. So it's them in the suits. Well, to us, it's supposed to be them in the suits. So what they did to make sure we don't have to worry about if we can see them later in the show, because we know they didn't get them to be in the show, they decided to put them out of commission. So Rita has these two monsters come up. It's the old school monsters. It's a Minotaur and a snake monster. Forget the names. But those two monsters come out, and apparently the snake monster, if it bites you, it could wrap snakes around you and shrink you and basically turn you into a little miniature figure. So, surprise, surprise, that's what they did to these three right here. Shrunk all three of them. She took them, and she used them for her grand plan, and she got away. I was like, wow. And then one of the things that made me really think, other than them naming them, saying that, Tommy and Kimberly and all that stuff, is they had to have used old like sound bites from each Ranger when they were fighting back in the day, because you could clearly hear that that's Jason in the suit, that's Tommy in the suit, and that's Kimberly in the suit. But we know they're not there. But that was a good thing. At least we're gonna do an anniversary with everybody. Let's have those essence of those people in there. And so I was like, okay, cool. That was pretty dope. I can't believe, I was so glad that they did that, and it was so dope. But yeah, that was kind of how they got rid of them for the rest of the episode, basically. So then let's talk about the ones that actually was there. So we had, with those three gone, we had Zach, Billy, Catherine, and Rocky. So apparently, because this year has gone by, They had enough time to prepare if Rita decides to come back. So what they did was they made some little Ranger protocol to come happen when when she comes back, they get everybody to come back. So oh, this is an ugly picture, but oh well. But yeah, to get all the Rangers back, that was one of the things they were supposed to do. And so the ones that they put in the show was these four, which we already knew. Billy and Zach was there. So they called Cat and Rocky. So they were the ones to show up. They called more Rangers, but at the time of them putting the beacon out when she shows up, those were the two that show up. And they show up randomly. Like Captain was like, hey, I was doing something with my baby, my son. And why are you calling this? Is already Tom? Is it a practice thing or whatever? And Rocky's coming in basically like he's just at work and he's getting ready to have lunch. And they messed up him eating lunch. So it's like they're still living regular lives, but they're Rangers, which is so weird. And you could clearly tell that they's like, yeah, we're just gonna live a regular life now, but then we're supposed to still believe that they're still Rangers. Like they still fight the good fight, and they haven't stopped. And so, yeah, I mean, it's good to have all these original people back on, but you could clearly tell that they were not preparing for this. Now I say maybe Zach. He may have prepared for this. Everybody else you could tell is like, yeah. You could tell it's been 30 years. But yeah, they call everybody back, and those are the two to show up. But then we also get two more, but they don't join the action. I wish they did, and to be completely honest with you, there's no point. It was no point for them to be there, to be completely honest. When you look at everything that happened, there was no reason to have to have them in this episode if they were just going to do that. They literally come in and they video call and say, "Hey guys, we're still out in outer space and we're trying to do some things, but as soon as we get back towards Earth, we'll teleport in and we'll help out." And yeah, that was kind of weird how they brought them in. And it's like I said, Adam and Aisha, they're working with we're familiar with Space Patrol Delta, but I'm assuming Space Patrol Alpha. It could be something else. I've been looking at some things and it shows that it might be different names and different things of stuff that's going on. But yeah, Adam and Aisha shows up. Good, again, good throwbacks. You could clearly tell that it's been 30 years, but it's crazy how they are still in the mix, especially Aisha, because we ain't seen her in forever. So yeah, so we see them. They literally do like it's like a super glorified cameo. It's like, hey guys, we here, and then they go off, and then the story continues with everything else. So we get the original Rangers together, and for some reason, in some way, Alpha Alpha finds a way to have coins made already for Catherine and Rocky as the original red and an original power coin, red power coin, and pink power coin for Catherine and Rocky. Even though we have Jason and Kimberly trapped with their power coins, they had like replacement power coins. And so I think they kind of stated something about it being like dangerous to have all the power coins, like double power coins and stuff like that. I think they said something like that, but then Alpha was like, "Oh no, we worked that out, so we don't have no problems with that." Blah 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 blah. And so they was able to, morph, and so they had their powers. And so it was like, okay, cool, they got powers. So now we got 4 Rangers. So then they go off and they try to fight Rita, and they found out that Rita her monsters can actually track them every time they morph. And so they had to stay kind of hidden, and off the grid for a while because apparently once Rita had got the three Rangers, she decided to start enacting her plan where she wanted Rangers to come out, not just the ones we are with, apparently all the rest of them. So she put Putties, oh yeah, that's right, Putties show back up. And they're just as goofy looking as they were before. But yeah, she puts Putties in every different location around the world. So clearly we got what, four Rangers now? How who is going to help save the world from those putties, in those different areas? It's not going to be just those four people. So there are other Rangers that are involved, but we'll talk about that a little later too. But next character up that we need to talk about is the new Yellow Ranger, which is Trini's daughter, Min Quan. Okay, this character, I feel like it is needed to have a new character step into the Yellow Power Ranger suit. Cool. And this is where that old school Power Rangers acting comes in. And when I say they told her, hey, you're going to act at this level, but we want you to make it seem like you're at this level, like high. And she overacted the hell out of those things. Like she was dead. She was practicing, and she was like she was in the middle of a karate tournament. Like, like yeah, it was something goofy. Like just like that look that I just made, goofy as hell. And at first I was like, I'm not gonna like this character, but it actually, instead of going on throughout the whole thing, and I liked her at the end, she kind of came right back around as soon as she got her act together and started doing some stuff. Because she wanted to go ahead and kill everybody. She was like, we need to kill these monsters because they killed my mom. She had no sympathy for any of them. Whether, we trap them somewhere, she didn't want to do that. She was like, oh, we going to trap them? No. We got to kill them because they killed my mom. Like, she was dead serious. She could fight, but she sucked. And yeah, like she could do what she could do with regular people, but when it came down to them putties, she worked them a little bit, but then they started working her ass. And guess what, guys? They brought back the juice bar. I just wish they could have did like a little small tribute to Ernie, the guy who played Ernie, because he's gone too. But they brought the juice bar back. They did say his name. They did say Ernie. It's like, oh, let's see what Ernie's recipe is when he was looking for a thing towards the end. But they brought the juice bar back, and guess what? The putties were attacking the juice bar. And since the Rangers couldn't morph and bring the monsters there, she goes out. She takes her mom's morpher, and then she goes out, and she decides that she wants to go ahead and try to morph. So she tells everybody to leave. These putties looking like this girl must be stupid because we go kill her. And they gang up on her. Like it was like at least 15. They circled her, and she was like, "Oh, y'all must be don't know who I am. I'm the Yellow Ranger." And then she goes to morph, and nothing happens. And so she tries to fight, but she was getting her butt kicked. So Zach and Billy had to show up. No, I'm sorry, Zach and Rocky had to show up and help her out. So they show up, and they was like, "Hey guys, we over here. Y'all still attacking this place?" And so they looked at her. They looked at them. They start fighting. So everybody started fighting. So like I said, this character here, she was really like a really headstrong. And so that was the kind of the character trait that I hated about her. But like the overall, the like her learning her lesson and what she needed to do throughout the episode was the show, the little special. It actually came around pretty fast. Like I said, she came around pretty fast. She was, like I said, really gung ho to do everything. She just went on by herself, try to do things. There's even a scene later on where she goes off and she wants to try to find a way to get to the Rangers, but she does. She's not. They didn't give her a teleporter, so she can't teleport and all this other stuff. So she couldn't do any of that. So they did the car thing where somebody goes out to the car, but they go out to like a little garage and they see the different cars, and she looks for the different cars, and she's like, yeah. She's like, she goes to, I want to say it was Tommy's motorcycle, and it was another car. I think it might have been Rocky's car that they showed, but I'm not quite sure. But then they get to Billy's old school car from the original series, the little Beetle that the Rad Bug, but now is the second version of it. And she decides that, you know what, out of all the cars that was there, that's what she wants to do. So she decides to ride this shit. You can see it back there in the back. It flies now, which I think it did in the original, but I thought it was more like a teleporter type thing. But in this one, they made it fly like, Back to the Future type fly. And I was like, okay, that was pretty cool. I mean, it was no need for it to be there, but why not? So they just threw a whole bunch of throwbacks in here for us, just like those monsters that came with Rita. Oh yeah, so somewhere in between all this craziness going on, the Rangers came up with a plan. They go back to the command center, and Aisha and Adam are back on the screen, and they're talking about how they're happy that Billy made this. Like that thing they said, they're getting ready to go back to Aquitar for a minute, or they just left Aquitar, and the girl told Billy that she missed him, and so Billy's like, "Oh, okay, cool." And then they say something about, yeah, the stealth tech that you made, Billy, is pretty good. So that could help. That helps us out pretty good when we out here in space. He's like, "Yeah, cool." So then they start talking about some other stuff, and then he realized, "Oh shoot, we can use that stealth tech to go ahead and get past, all them seeing us when we teleport and transform and all this stuff. So we could go ahead and actually." Oh yeah, that's right. Hold on. I keep jumping ahead. I keep jumping ahead too fast. So, like I told you earlier, she took the three Rangers, right? She took the three Rangers, and so her plan was to get the powers from the Rangers, use the powers to this, and the power to power this device. When she powers up this device, it's going to actually open up a portal for her to do something. So, like I told you, they enacted this big plan, the Rangers, this big plan so they could have all the Rangers, different Ranger teams ready just in case if Rita decides to come back and do some things. So what they did was bring back a lot of Rangers, but the way they did it was we go back to the Rita's machine where they had the original three Rangers that got caught, and then you see more Rangers up in here, and it's like so that's right there. That's eight. That's eight Rangers right there. They have a whole nother set of Rangers on the other side, which are where the original Rangers were that was taken. And so, like in this group of Rangers that they had a couple of some cool faces that we seen. Like one of them was let's go down the line. So we had a Zeo Ranger on the other side of that one picture I just showed you. So we had a Zeo Ranger, which is this one, and I know everybody remembers her. If I could ever get it over there. Yep, there we go. They had Tanya. She was at the bottom on the other side of that little power thing they had. And I was like, okay, Tanya, cool, cool. You got Tanya up in there. You had, let's get this out of the way. Actually, you know what? This is what I'm gonna do. You had Tanya. You had the Phantom Ranger. I was like, what? They caught the Phantom Ranger? I was like, I thought he died a long time ago, but I forgot he did live when that battle for the universes was happening when Zordon died. They had Ashley, the Power Rangers in space. They had a couple Power Rangers in space. They had another one too. I think they had Carlos too. It was Carlos as well. the Black Power Ranger from Power Rangers in Space. Then they went through the list, bro. They had the Lost Galaxy Rangers up in here. The green one, the black brother right there, Damon. I don't know if anybody even remember them. I think this is when everybody checked out, like any of the original people. And they had this guy from Galaxy as well, the blue one. They even had the red one, bro. They had the red one up there. He like these are all the Rangers that they had on that Rita had already caught. So she really didn't need Billy and them, but they were still trying to fight the fight. So like they even had this guy, this Red Ranger too as well. Oh well, you can't see. Hold on, let me zoom in. Why does this one come up? That's weird. Connor, the Red Dino Ranger. They had him in there. And then we had this guy, the Lunar Wolf Ranger. I think this is from, I forget what season that was from. That's bad. I should know what season that's from. They had the Dino Thunder, Trent, and they decided they wanted to be small with this one. White Dino Ranger, he was there. He got caught up too. I wonder, like, when they went through this, was like, which Rangers should be still on Earth to do this? I'm not familiar with the Beast Morphers, but he was one of them. A lot of people told me that season was good. I kind of didn't even check it out at all, which is bad. So yeah, the rest of them were the Beast Morphers Rangers that was caught. But if you saw that first picture I had up there, like that's literally how she had them like stacked up there. So even this guy, another black guy. Yeah, we got some more black people. We got some more black Red Rangers. That's the good thing about it too. I like. But yeah, they had quite a few Rangers there. They had quite a few Rangers that came back and well, I'm sorry, they didn't show them. It was just the suits on the wall. So yeah, back to the whole thing of the story where they had this big plan to use the little things that Billy created to mask themselves and go into Rita's castle to get the rest of the Rangers. But before that, they had to capture the two monsters because they couldn't really do anything unless they captured the two monsters. So they came up with this plan to have a big magnet hanging above them and trick them to come get them. And then when they came to get them, because they're basically robots too, just like Rita is, they're made of metal. So they used the magnet to capture them. The magnet is so strong that they can't even teleport away. I don't know what type of superpower magnet they had, but that's what they were trying to do. So I'm going with it. And so yeah, with that happening, they decided to just go ahead and leave off, and they realized that they couldn't get the Rangers. They snuck in, but they couldn't get the Rangers out of the thing because the snake was still together. And the new Yellow Ranger, she wanted to kill the monsters. And they told them that they're not going to do that. So that's why they left her at a command center. And she decides to go her own. And that's when she steals the car to go meet up with the monsters and try to do something. And so they were like, "Who are you?" And they was trapped. And she goes to try to morph again, and she couldn't because she was trying to do everything for revenge. So apparently the power just wasn't going to give her, come for her or whatever. So as she realized that the power wasn't coming, Rita decides to come out. Rita comes out of the cut. It's like, "Yo, what's up?" So now Rita got Trini's daughter. And now it's like, okay, now she's caught. But what happens is we go back to the Rangers who are getting the other Rangers, and they're about to get the Rangers off the wall, and Rita shows up with the girl. So they're like, "Oh man!" So now we gotta try to fight them, And then that's when Rita tells the whole plan of what she's trying to do. She's using the Ranger's power to make a portal to go back in time to tell real Rita from the past about all the stuff that's going to happen, so they both could rule over the world and know what's coming. Convenient and why? But that's what she want to do. So she starts this portal thing going because she told the other Rangers that she doesn't need them, and they're all fighting this lizard monster and the Minotaur guy in the castle. So they beat the lizard guy a little bit, and Rita was like, and so she picks him up with her staff and she throws him out of the castle onto the ground of the moon. And you know what she did? She threw her cane. She threw her wand and made her monster grow. And so with her monster growing, we had to see the Zords. And being that all the Rangers weren't there technically, it was a key thing they said earlier about how they were able to control the Zords without the other power coins. So if I'm not mistaken, I think it was Zach. No, it's Billy. Billy went in there with no, sorry. Before that happened, Rita was like, "Yo, I'm gonna kill you again." Like she's like, "I'm gonna kill Billy," and she goes to shoot Billy again. Guess what happened, guys? Trini's daughter does the same thing Trini does, but Trini's daughter doesn't have powers, so she literally jumps in the way and gets hit by the thing again. But for some reason, she doesn't disintegrate like Trini did, and apparently all the power went to the Morpher. And she woke up and everybody's like, "Oh, she's still alive, yeah." And she's like, "I think I'm imbued with the power." And then you see the power kind of go over her. And Zach being corny like he is, "Well, are you going to say it?" And then she says, "It's morphin' time," and they all morph into the things. So that's when they start fighting the lizard guy and beat him up. And Rita throws him out and makes him grow. She makes him grow. They call the Zords. So it's Billy and Trini's daughter in the Zord, and they're fighting the lizard, while the other three is fighting the Minotaur monster, trying to go ahead and get all the Power Rangers out of there at the same time. So they're fighting, and they had to basically wait for the Zords to kill the lizard monster. So the Zord comes in, kick ass for a minute, but then the lizard monster has to get his little licks in, so he beats him up, knocks the Zord down. Everybody's like, "Oh, Zords, we're gonna die. How are we gonna get everything up? How are we gonna do it?" So then they end up finding a way to get up, and Rita was about to do something, and right when she was about to do it, I want to say Billy stabs her before he goes into the Zord. I'm sorry. He stabs Rita before he goes into the Zord, and Rita's like messed up, so you thinking Rita's dead. So when they're in the Zord and they about to kill him, Rita wakes back up and turns the machine on. And when she turns the machine on, that's when you see the portal and you see the space dumpster where original Rita was in, and it was about to be open. And so she's like, "Yeah, I can go in and I can make it there." Blah 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 blah. And so they killed the lizard monster. And so what happened was, since they killed the lizard monster, the snakes that was around all the Rangers that was on the wall comes off. And so they grab all the Rangers that was up there, and then I forget who. And Zach blows up the machine. And so she can't go back. And so then they end up fighting her and they beat her, basically. And I was just like, okay, interesting. I'll deal with that. That's not a bad scenario, whatever. But yeah, so they beat her, and then things happen where they talk about Trini's daughter being the new Yellow Ranger, and Aisha says it's good to see somebody else step into the original Yellow Ranger powers, and you're new and glad you have the legacy to pass on and all this good stuff like that. And then they said that they had to take all those Power Rangers that were shrunken to Aquatar so they could do something to them so they could get them back to normal size. Again, another reason to not have those Rangers on screen to fight. That's cool. I'm glad that they gave the nods to those Rangers, but you could deal. We could deal with it. We could deal with it. Yeah. So was it good? For what we got, I would have to say it was pretty good. Even like the CG that they put into it, just the new designs of the Zords, and even some of the suits were pretty good. Now, one thing I would say about the suits, Trini was they was in the dirt. Trini's daughter was in the dirt, and she was jumping around, and you could tell she may have rolled on some dirt, because when she turned around, you see some dirt on the back of her suit, like on her shoulder, and I'm like, wow, out of all these years, I've never seen the Power Rangers get dirty, the suits get dirty. So I was like, okay, we could deal with that. We could deal with that. But yeah, it was crazy. They did some little things where they had kind of gave Trini like a like an in memoriam thing type thing. Like they showed the original picture, so what like she actually technically was in the show from just pictures. So I mean that was cool. I like how they did that. They had like a whole shrine in the house with the morpher in there, because that was one of the things that Billy wanted Zach to do to Trini's daughter after they found out she was dead. They wanted to tell her that she was a Power Ranger, so they told her, and so she always knew her mom was a Power Ranger. Once she got older, that 1 year that happened, she knew her mom was a Power Ranger, and so even with that, she the morpher was there. So I'm like, I'm surprised that right then was the time she decided she wanted to try to see if she could morph. So I was like, no, okay. That was a good way. That was a good way to like, do some stuff. I was like, I wonder if they're gonna do anything else with Tommy or just anybody else who was part of that series. They did do one thing that they did do a nod for Bulk and Skull. It shows up when the putties were attacking the cities. They had like a sign with Bulk and Skull, and I forget what it said, but it was like they were advertising something, and it was Bulk and Skull, and it was the two guys, and they showed the face, and then the putties kind of smashed through it. Like I look at it again to see exactly what it was, but that was funny. I was like, oh, they put Bulk and Skull. I wish they would have actually been in the show. I thought that that both of them said they were supposed to be in the show, but I guess not. But I mean, it was an hour, so like, how much could you really have put in there? So they did do a little small tribute for both of them, for Trini and Jason, David Frank, Tommy, and it was at the end. And let me get that out the way so you can actually see it. And it was pretty nice. They did that at the end, the ending off, and it was pretty good. I was like, yep, that's how you do it right there. Nice little memorial for them, just show that they love them and so forth. I'm glad that now, like the way they're doing in the comics, is they're showing that they did show that Trini in the comics, Trini, Zach, and Jason in the comics, when they went off to that little thing when they switched out the Power Rangers, I forget what it was, the little conference they had to go to. When they went out there, they technically became Omega Rangers. So that was cool. And then it shows that her still actually a Ranger here. So I was like, okay, cool. She didn't die in the comic books apparently. So yeah, that means she's done. She just did a little bit more things after the fact. So that was cool how they did that. I kind of just really wish Jason, David Frank would have been able to come back before he passed. But the things I've heard online and stuff about, he didn't want to come back. They wanted him to come back so bad, but he didn't want to come back. He wanted them to like make a couple of his projects that he was working on, and they wouldn't do it. And because they wouldn't do it, he decided he wouldn't do anything else for them. And that's like the short and sweet, straight to the point reason why he wasn't on the show. He didn't want to come back because they didn't want to work with him and help him out with stuff. And even some of the projects that he did beforehand, they stole and they reworked it for them. And if I'm not mistaken, this story plot was probably one of his stories too. That if I'm not mistaken, that they took, and that was the main reason why he did. That was another main reason why he didn't want to come back. So, and Kimberly, I think they said it was the money, and I think a lot of people thought maybe she just didn't have the time, and she had debunked the point of being time and stuff. She's like, they just wasn't going to pay what she wanted to get paid. But I just wish all of them would have came back. If they got Billy to come back, everybody should just went ahead and say, you know what, screw it, let's just go back, because we got everybody back now. But what can you say? What can you say? What can you say? Now, the future of the Power Rangers. Now, from what I'm hearing, is now they're going to start. Well, we still got one more season of this version of Rangers, and like in this, which is so crazy, in this special, the villain was Arita, old villain, and so I watched a little of the last season of the Power Rangers, and the only reason I even jumped into this was because they brought back Zed, and coming to find out that this will be the first season where, since the original Mighty Morphin Rangers, where they came and they stayed more than 2 seasons. This will be the first little group of Rangers since then that's done it. So now they're in their 3rd season, 2nd series, whereas I forget the name of it, but there's a new Ranger group, and their villain is Zed. Even though Zed came into the last season, he was like, pop up, I'm a villain for now, then pop back away. So he's like in like 3 episodes in the last 2 seasons, or the last season. And so in this season, apparently he's supposed to be the big bad. And so we'll see when it comes on. So, that's the future of this group of kids that are connected to our original group of kids. And from what I'm hearing, I think that's going to be the last and then they're going to start to reboot everything. But they're going to reboot back to Mighty Morphin, if I'm not mistaken. They would have 3 different versions of Power Rangers going on in media in general. So we're still going to have like the kid-friendly one, and then I think they're supposed to do like an adult style one, and then they're going to do like a movie section of Ranger stuff too. Hasbro, I think it's Hasbro who's doing it. They have their hands full with this. So let's hope the future is bright for Power Rangers. I know a lot of people are out there ready for what's next. I mean, now that they got Billy back in and Zach, I wonder if before all is done, will they come back and reprise their roles in another season like everybody else? Because Aisha, I'm trying to think, did Rocky come back before? I don't think Rocky came back. I don't think Cat came back either. Now that I'm thinking about it, dang, yeah, that's right. Ain't none of the people who were on this one really came back, other than Adam. Adam's been back, I think, twice. Yeah, Adam's been back twice. So, dang, I would have thought. Well, guess I was wrong. But yeah, the future looks bright. I could see some of these characters coming back. I really want to see Aisha and Adam back to explain this SPA, Space Patrol Alpha, maybe. Well, we'll see. The future is pretty bright for them, especially for a company that started off from a Japanese old footage and got big with that and the toys that just gave them the power to just be so big. Let's see how much bigger they could get with the new group of kids and a new group of viewers to watch. Well, with that being said, that's the end of my review. I want to thank you guys for coming out and actually listening and watching my review. And guys, if you want to go ahead and take the time out just to help me out, Go ahead and go to my YouTube page, djfatsnacks, snack bites and reviews. Go ahead and subscribe to that channel for me and help a brother out. I'm just getting started. This is my second review. I did the Mario review too earlier, so that's on my page as well. But make sure you check it out too. And also on top of that, any other social media you can go ahead and follow. Just DJ Fastnext. I'm on all other platforms, so look me up and you can find me, subscribe and follow. Until next time, guys, I will see you later. Thank you for coming out.